Nearly 60% of all the grain harvested in the United States is barged and shipped into and out of the mouth of the mighty Mississippi River through the port of New Orleans. And one of the largest facilities on the river is the Zen-Noh Grain elevator here in Convent, Louisiana at mile marker 167, about 60 miles north of New Orleans. Zen-Noh Grain president and CEO John Williams feels fortunate that Zen-Noh Grain is situated so far north of the devastation in and around the New Orleans grain facilities.
You know, you have some infrastructure issues. Some facilities don't have electricity yet. You've got some service industries who do not have all of their crew and employees back to work. We're fortunate here because we're far enough upriver that we suffered no damage at Convent and none in our fleeting area close by, but certainly other companies did.
There's about a dozen other grain facilities south of Baton Rouge, with several in the New Orleans area that suffered severe damage from the hurricane. And for a while, ship traffic at the mouth of the river was stopped until shipping channels were cleared. But things seem to be getting back to normal for now.
It was that first week when the river was closed and barge logistics were tough. We were unable to do anything. It's kind of put a backlog in getting not only vessels unloaded, but getting barges unloaded. And that's compounded the impact on the cost of barge freight to bring grain down from the north, have gone up as much as 200 to 300% of normal.
The Zen-Noh Grain, like other grain elevators on the river, works on a concept called just-in-time inventory, where grain is unloaded, tested, and weighed, stored for a short period, and then loaded back onto ships. And it's done here at Zen-Noh Grain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Zen-Noh Grain has the capacity to store some 4 million bushels of milo, corn, and soybeans. A typical barge here on the river holds around 60,000 bushels of grain. Here at Zen-Noh Grain, it only takes about 45 minutes to unload one of those barges. And then on the flip side, it takes about 24 hours to load one of these huge Panamax ships. They hold around 2.2 million bushels of grain.
We'll load 200 to 220 ships per year. And our busiest time is September through March, because of that's when the U.S. is typically more competitive. So that's when we'll crank up and load, we can load 20 ships a month. It's not a problem.
Williams says that right now the biggest obstacle seems to be finding enough available barges to haul grain. The cost to barge grain has risen so much lately that farmers in the Midwest are trying to store as much grain as possible. And this comes at a time when overseas markets are purchasing vast amounts of U.S. grain.
With high-priced barge freight, the way we spiked the last 2 weeks, that puts a huge carry in the market, which encourages people upriver to hold the grain on their farm versus ship it. So you've got an unnatural event occur here that's keeping grain off the market, kind of right at a time when we need it to be coming to market.